So, hey, Beth, thank you so much for joining us today. You and I you did so fantastically well when we worked together. And I want you to tell everyone, think back, rewind the clock, tell everyone where you were with your health before we had met.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to do this, because I will tell anybody how fantastic my experience was with you. So I remember it well because I'm usually a pretty healthy person, and have enjoyed the privilege of good health for a really long time. And when I started when my perimenopause kind of really kicked into gear, I started to just not feel like myself. I wasn't sleeping. That was the biggest thing. I was waking up at around 4 a.m. every single day. And there's nothing you can do. As you know, at 4 a.m., there's nothing you can do. You can't it's just such a difficult moment to wake up. And I was so not rested. And I had some of the other symptoms as well. I had like hot flashes and stuff, but all of that felt like a nuisance. But the sleep thing was really an issue.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what had you tried prior to working with me?
I had tried quite a few things. I had tried many different herbs, some Chinese herbs that were recommended to me. I had tried berberine and some other supplements. That's always kind of where my mind goes first. And a lot of them worked until they didn't.
So they started out working, and then your symptoms increased in time?
Yeah, my symptoms increased, and also I just seemed to outgrow the supplements. So it's kind of both at the same time.
Okay. And so how was that impacting your life at the time to wake up at 4 a.m.? Like, did you ever go back to sleep and then?
No, that was the thing. I was waking up, like hot and sweaty and uncomfortable. And I couldn't fall back to sleep. And I usually sleep pretty well. And it was affecting everything. I don't know. I'm somebody who cannot function without sleep. I know there are people who can, but that is not me. And the older I get, the more true that is. So it affected everything. It affected my mood. It affected how I showed up for my family and friends. It affected my work. And just generally, like, my enjoyment of my life was really affected because I just didn't feel like myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's a reason why criminals use sleep deprivation as a form of torture, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's no joke.
It's no joke. It's no joke. So you had results before, you tried other people, didn't really get the, long term. What made our experience working together different for you?
I think a big part of it is that you are somebody who, you're so honest and you're so straightforward. And you're also a woman of the same age. And, I really think that with menopause is such a specific moment in your life. It's not that I don't believe in going to male practitioners or going to younger practitioners, because I don't discriminate, but for something like menopause, it's so important to have somebody in your corner who really understands what you're going through. And I just so appreciated that about you, and also how straightforward you are and how honest you are, and you just tell it like it is. And that's what I needed. I'm a grown up. I don't need someone to sugarcoat things for me. I want the explanations. I want the science. And I just felt like I could really trust you. And I'm somebody who has had I'm sure many women have, quite a journey with medical practitioners, often really not good ones, feeling like I wasn't being listened to, or like I wasn't being heard, or that like suggestions I had were bad ones. I've had doctors laugh in my face about when I've asked questions. So I really.
What questions did you ask that they laughed in your face?
So years ago, I used to have chronic bladder infections, and I started trying to find out what I could do about it, because my OBGYN at the time, who was also a woman, said that what I should do about it is take prophylactic antibiotics. So basically, like, every time I had sex, I was supposed to take an antibiotic, which seemed crazy to me. So I started looking up what I could do, and I found this supplement called D-mannose, which now is all over the place. But at the time, this is like 15 years ago, it was like fringe. But it did have some studies behind it. So I brought it to her, and she laughed at me. And she said, people bring me things like this all the time. And I mean, if the drugs work, why wouldn't you take them? That was basically her response. So needless to say, I eventually switched OBGYNs, but also I started taking D-mannose because I liked what I was reading about it. And I can't remember the last bladder infection I've had. I take a little bit of D-mannose every day. There's no side effects, and it cured my problem. So I just, bringing it back to like why I really like working with you is that I just felt like I could bring anything to you. And even if you didn't agree with it, you would at least take the question seriously. I feel like I could trust you, and that you looked at me as a grown-up and as a peer. So I feel like our experience was so unique to me compared to other experiences I've had with medical professionals in the past.
Well, and ironically, a doctor I sent you to for blood work in New York gaslit me about being a nutritionist. He said, "Oh, you can practice nutrition all you want, but don't call it evidence-based medicine because there's no studies to show the work you do." I was like, dude. So
right.
I was like, wow, that's crazy. So I don't send to patients anymore. But
well, and the same person didn't want us to continue with didn't want me to advance in hormones. And he said, I'm going to refer you to somebody. And the person he wanted to refer me to was a male endocrinologist. And I was like, are you crazy? I'm not sick. I'm going through menopause. It just blew my mind that was what he thought was the right, next move.
Fascinating. And anyone listening to this we've all had like crazy gaslighting stories for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you have any objections financially when we talked about like, okay, Beth, it's going to take a little money, a little investment on your behalf to get results? Like, what went through your head there? Did you have any struggles?
The short answer is no, but to be a little bit more, truly, I think anytime, I'm sure like most women go through this, like if you told me I needed to spend that sum of money on my child or on a friend or on my husband, I wouldn't hesitate. But because I was spending it on myself, of course, I had this moment of like, oh, is that okay? Because I think we're just raised and taught to care for others first. And I was raised very frugally. I was raised by a single mother. We didn't have like a lot of money. And so, yeah, I definitely had a moment of hesitation, but really it was a moment. And I think, like I said, it came from like my upbringing and culture more than anything else. When I really, thought about it, it was a no-brainer because, like I said, it was what I was going through was affecting everything about my life. And to me, it's like, what are you going to invest in? Like, where else is that money going to go? Is it going to go toward a vacation? Can't really enjoy a vacation if your health is, not good. It's going to go toward clothes. That's not really my thing, but like clothes aren't really going to fit you well and you're not going to really want to go anywhere in those clothes if your health is affected. So to me, it's like, if you're going to spend some money, spend it on your health first. It just, to me, it's like I said, it's a no-brainer. It was a must. It was something I needed to do so that I could have my life back and have my body back and my self back. So yeah, it was a great decision. Absolutely.
So would you say, like, what would you tell one of your friends who was like, oh my God, Beth, I want to, I have an opportunity to like go see someone who can help me, but I can't, it's so expensive. What do I do? What would you say to her if that happened?
I would say, if you want, I will help you figure out I will look at your finances with you and figure out a way to make it happen. Because if you're feeling whatever you're feeling enough to go to somebody and you're considering it, you need to do it. You need to do it for yourself. And if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for all the other people in your life who depend on you, because I know you want to show up for them as your best self, and you cannot do that unless you take care of yourself. It's like the cliche of like putting the oxygen mask on yourself first. They tell you that for a reason. You have to. So I would tell a friend, and I have told people, I've referred people to you, and I've said, like, you have to do it. If you're not feeling well, if you're not feeling like yourself, there is something you can do about it. Go do it.
I love it. You totally gave me the chills when you were saying it's awesome. What were the ultimate results that you had in working together? Like, where are you now with your health, and what has transpired since?
I mean, I have said this to people, like, you have transformed my menopause experience, like, absolutely no question. I feel great. I'm 52. I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, I have energy. I mean, now I know what to do better than I used to. I know to lift weights. I know, to emphasize protein in my diet, like all the different things that we've talked about. But I really feel great. I feel strong. I feel healthy. I have friends, who are sort of our age, who talk about, like, they kind of complain about, being this age and, like, this is falling apart or that hurts or whatever. And I'm like, nope. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. Like, aging is a privilege, and we're in our 50s. We're not old. We're just getting started. Like, I feel so good and so energetic and just like ready for the next chapter. And the other thing too is
Might just get it random.
yeah. And
Okay, keep going.
the other thing too is, like, I have a teenage daughter, and I remember my mother going through menopause, and she's going to remember me going through it. And I want her to see me have this positive experience and know that it's like just another phase of life, It's not this terrible thing. It's not the end of anything. I mean, it's the end of, like, our reproductive years, but, like, it's also the beginning of something. And so I want to set this example for her that, like, you can figure out a way to take care of yourself and feel better and do more. So, in a way, I also did it. I'm glad I did this for her. But I really feel great. I really do.
And most importantly, are you sleeping?
Yes, I am. I mean, yes, I am sleeping. And also, I know what to do if things start to slip again. Like, I have tools now. So if symptoms do crop up here or there, I know what to do. So I don't feel like, oh no, the sense of dread, like, what am I going to do? I feel like I'm in control here. So, and I feel like if I can feel that way, why can't anybody?
Amen. That is exactly why we're here today, to help all
Mhm.
of these women know what is possible for each and every one of these gorgeous souls in this room with us today. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your time. You are so inspiring to me. I have, like, just chills going up and down, and you've done such a beautiful job. So thank you for your time today, Beth.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Okay.